What up? It's your boy Dayton. Welcome back to another episode of Unbiased Sports Fan Podcast. Today we have Zach Smith back, the NHL guru. The NHL playoffs are almost coming to an end, but we still got a good meat of it left. The top four teams are going into the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, so we're going to dive into that. We're going to go over some of the last round a little bit, but not spend too much time on that. But Zach, welcome back, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you having me back. Glad I wasn't too much of an idiot with who I was suggesting and all that and what my thoughts were. So glad I could make it back.
Hey, you were spot on. For those of you that did watch the first one when Zach was on here, episode 9, he was spot on with the teams, the players, everything. We'll get into some of that later. But we'll go ahead and start recapping round two.
Yeah, yep, that'll be round
Round
two.
two. Yeah, so it is the round two. The last game last night was the Sabres and the Canadians, right?
Yep, game 7 into overtime. You can't get much better.
Yeah. And we'll start with that game. You call that an upset?
No, I think that whole series was 50-50. The game feels like an upset because Buffalo as a city, like, it kind of goes to the Bills too. Like I don't know what it is about the city. Like they just have brutal heartbreaks, but the whole country almost like cheers for them because they're just like that
Yeah.
little brother that can't. Um, and they didn't start off well, down to nothing, came back, tied it, and truthfully, they outplayed Montreal for majority of the game, and even a good bit of overtime there. But it's just kind of how hockey goes, right? You have a goalie
Yep.
keeps you in it, and all it takes, I know the announcers were saying it is like one shot, and it wasn't even like a great shot. It did get tipped, so obviously, I don't think that got talked about. But no, I wouldn't call it an upset, but it definitely probably, it'd probably like Buffalo would probably be favored like 52%. So I guess it is, but in my mind, not really.
Yeah, and I mean, anything can happen in OT. We all know that in any
Yep.
sport, any team can beat anybody when it gets there. So, I mean, they had the home rink advantage, I guess you could say,
Home ice, yeah, home ice, yeah.
home ice advantage, and they lost in Game 7. So, I mean, Canadians are going up against the
No, the Canes,
Av.
the Canes. Come on, you
Oh
got the
shoot, that is right.
yeah,
The Canes. The Canes is coming
yes.
off another sweep.
Yep.
4-0 sweep wasn't even close. Them boys are flying on the ice. What you think about them?
I'm having to eat words a little bit in the regard of I think on the last episode I said how they never really seem to have a goalie. Anderson, their goalie, is playing great. Um, if I didn't think there was a shot in heck that the Flyers would beat them. So I thought the harder series for the Canes was um Ottawa. Just a
That one.
little bit more physical. Like you could say the Flyers were just gassed. They were happy to be there at that point. Hockey is a sport. I know a lot of announcers are probably talking about it, where this much time off, it's going to be 10 days since they last played.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah. That's a
That's
lot. It's
crazy.
it's great for injuries, don't get me wrong, but it's such a like you it's the one sport I really think where you can't mimic the level or the intensity in any practice. Like you could go as hard as you want, but at the same time, you're not trying to injure your own teammates in practice.
Right.
Where in those games, like we saw in the Buffalo Montreal series, they were running the goalies a few times. Like they were running to them on purpose, and you can't simulate that. So I wouldn't, as a Canes fan, I wouldn't be shocked if you lose game one, but I do think,
Yeah.
kind of jumping ahead here, I think the Canes do get it in six. Um, I think it probably goes 2-2 after 4 games, and then I think Canes win game five, and then I think they steal another one up in Montreal in game six.
Yeah, so like I mean, this is probably like any other sport. I mean, they got hot at the right time. I mean, they've been
Yep.
hot all year, but I mean, riding that hot streak, and you got to sit out for 10 days. But on the other flip side, the Canadians just went to Game 7. They got to turn
Yeah.
around and play one of, if not the best team. in the NHL right now.
Yeah, right. And it's you see these
So
injuries, like you see every team after you, unfortunately after they lose, like the injury report, and it's usually every single
yeah,
guy has something.
right.
There was a guy on the Anaheim Ducks who I think broke two vertebrae in his spine. Now
Ooh,
it wasn't like life, obviously like life threatening, but he's still playing with a broken spine. So it's obviously that's ample that it allows the Canes to get healed up a little bit. Um, but in the same breath, sometimes like I'm, dating as we get older, our injuries like
yeah.
the longer you get them, the more they like hurt. So it's almost like if you're not moving around as much in those games, probably taking the adrenaline, you probably start to feel it a little bit more too.
This is a little off topic, but I play soccer on Thursday nights. And if
Yeah,
I come out for even it's 77 smaller fields, but I mean that's enough for me. But if I come out and get subbed out and I sit down, or even at halftime, everything tightens up, and
yeah,
I just do not feel like doing it
yeah,
again. So I mean, I agree with you, man. That 10 days is a long time. Now, like 5 or 6, that's different, but it's literally the complete opposite. These teams, one is
yeah,
off for so long, and one is coming off zero rest.
yep.
So we're gonna see. I mean, they're Hurricanes are looking good, but like you said, what if they did just they're gonna miss a beat the first game, and if they get the first game stolen from them, who knows what can happen?
That's where I think it could get, you want to call it dangerous for the Hurricanes, is it's actually
Yeah,
almost better if you have this long of a break to be the road team because if you get killed that first game on the road,
right,
it's not that big of a deal. But like, let's say they lose and it's like 3-0, then the pressure kind of gets put on you a little bit because you lost the first one at home. So that's where that's the only that's another kind of downside. And historically, hockey teams haven't done well with this long of a break. Now the Hurricanes they went against that against the Flyers. They had a big break there as well, but kind of back to back. I remember the Hurricanes, they swept the Islanders. They swept the Islanders. Maybe I forget, like 2019. It was the second round as well, 4 games, and they had about I think 7 days, and then they went and got swept themselves. So
yep.
it can happen like that, unfortunately.
Now we brought up in the last episode, you did the Hurricanes.
Yep.
They have this hump they've had to get over. They've been so good. You think they did it?
See, I don't know because truthfully, they've still been making it to the conference
Yeah,
finals. This is their hump. Um, it's gonna sound like I'm a hater, but this is also their easiest hump to get over.
yeah,
Florida, the past 2 years, was always a better team, and I do think that's also in the Hurricanes' mindset of relief of they don't have to play Florida. Because then
right.
once you get to the cup, then it's a crapshoot, right? Like you can go
Because they
whatever.
knocked them out.
Florida didn't make it. Just it's
No, the last 2 years.
yeah, Florida knocked them out the last 2 years in the
So that
conference.
their kryptonite's out of there.
Exactly. So. And then Florida was even in it the past 3 years, but like before that. So I think the Hurricanes kind of have in their mind like, hey, this is our shot because going way, way ahead, Florida's running the same team back that they had. Just they got injured this year. It took a lot out, right? You can't go 4 years in a row. So I think the Hurricanes kind of know this is our best shot. And I think that also
Right.
that's whether you want to call it bulletin board material, whatever you want to say. I do think they're not naive enough to know that.
Well, let's just hope they come out strong and not uh,
Yeah,
soft after a 10-day rest.
yeah. If you go down like 2-0 quick, that arena they'll have to make some noise on the board because
Then that mental will get in their
yeah,
head. So
yep,
that's another thing. You don't want to. They're not used to losing in the playoffs really right now. So you
yeah,
don't want to get down. That first game's huge. But recapping, we got a little head there. But recapping on the west side, you were talking about last episode the top 3 teams in what was it?
yeah. I was saying Colorado, Dallas, and
In
Minnesota.
Wild.
Yep,
Right. And
and
you
then
said
Minnesota beat Dallas.
an
And
Avalanche just
it was I think it was closer than the score said. 'Cause I think a lot of times it was like a 3-2 game or a 1 goal game late, and then empty nets. Not an excuse for the Wild, but they were without probably their third best defenseman,
right.
which is big because then those top two guys were playing almost over 30 minutes a night, and that's insane. And then they were without their number one center. And obviously in face-offs, possession, all that, that's massive. So do I
Yeah.
think Minnesota beats Colorado with those two guys? No, but I think it actually probably would have went 6 or 7.
What
Um,
it, I thought it
it
went
went five.
six.
It went
Oh, it
five.
went 5-4
Yeah.
1. That's right.
Yeah, but
But
the last game was in overtime. I think
yeah, that's
there might have
true.
been there wasn't, I think there was only one overtime game, but there were so many that were tied going into
Close.
like, late into the third. And then I think Colorado, to their credit, would get a late goal and then score some empty net.
Yeah. Minnesota probably got tired out, like you said, with
Yep.
those guys playing. And then the Knights win 4-2 in the series against the Ducks. Did you have that one?
That's an
Or did
interesting
you see
one.
that coming?
I saw it coming. Vegas is a um I can't think of the word. Just they're an older team. They've been there before. Um, they know what it takes a little bit, and Vegas is now getting some great goaltending as well. They were kind of struggling with that throughout the year as well. They have a goalie who not kind of truthfully avoiding it, just came in, used to be really good, had some issues, however you feel about that. Um, and is playing really well right now. He's playing how he used to play. Um, because I actually thought Anaheim outplayed Vegas the whole series.
Wow.
I thought actually except that last game. That was probably Anaheim's worst game of the whole series. If you go off level of play, Anaheim probably should have won game one. Then they
Okay.
won game two, and then it went 2-2. So I don't think Colorado, kind of jumping ahead right to that prediction, I don't think Colorado steams past them because I think Vegas's goalie is better. And I think as he's progressing, he's getting better. So they'll keep him in it. Um, but I think Colorado's just too good.
You've
Um,
said that, yeah.
yeah, I think it's hard for them to, in my mind, jumping way ahead. They almost have to choke it away, I think, for not to win the cup this year.
Gotcha. Anything can happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move in. I know we spoke about it a little bit. We've been jumping ahead. This is a shorter episode, but let's just get into the Eastern Conference Finals real quick.
Yeah.
I know we talked about momentum and everything, but who do you think has momentum and the edge going into the series?
Yeah, I think Montreal, you'd have to say, has the momentum just from continuing to play.
Yep,
I still think though the Hurricanes have the edge. Um, Montreal's not as physical of a team as Buffalo is. I think obviously Buffalo brings you into that fight. So I think
yep,
that will actually play more into the Hurricanes' hands of they don't have to be as physical. I'm interested to see though how that plays out because then if Montreal doesn't have to play physical, they're really fast as well. So kind of prediction you may get some high scoring games in that series.
gotcha.
I think it's just gonna be a very fast back and forth series. I do think though the Canes win it in six, and I think game six they win in Montreal in overtime. I think that's how it doesn't go to a 7.
They uh they got the better goalie, right?
So it's hard, right? Like the Montreal goalie, his stats aren't great. Hurricanes guys been way better. But also transparently, in my mind, Montreal's played two tougher teams.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of in the point of who cares what your stats are when you're winning?
Yeah,
And like, right, he's gave up some bad goals, but then he's also made some insane saves when it's been late, tied, they've been down, they've been up to basically have them win. So Anderson did it as well. He's had some usually like I know he's had a few great saves as well, but it's kind of hard to say, right? Montreal goalie's been has done it six more
right.
games than Anderson has had to.
Yeah, that is crazy to
But then
say.
the other
They
side of
played
that, if
six more.
he's played six more games, it's the wear and tear. So we'll see how it goes.
And then you mentioned the players last time. Those same guys need to keep playing well for those teams to
No,
get it
truthfully,
done.
I think for the Hurricanes, there's one difference is Aho and Jarvis have to step up. That's great for the Hurricanes. I guess you almost say they've, I don't know if you want to call it luck. They've swept 2 rounds with, in my mind, Aho and Jarvis kind of not doing much. So if those guys, if they be the consistent players we know them to be, then I think it makes it a lot tougher for Montreal as well. Because yeah, just them, Svechnikov, Jarvis haven't really done much. It's been the Stankoven, Jackson Blake, and Taylor Hall show for the Canes.
Gotcha. Um, the key for each team to win. All right, if I were to tell you Carolina wins the series in 6, why do they win?
I think if Carolina wins in 6, they stay out of the penalty box, which they struggled
Okay,
with tremendously against Philly. Montreal has a way better power play. So
gotcha.
that's going to be key for them. Special teams for the Hurricanes.
And then now on the
And
other
then for
side,
Montreal, I think they need to get physical with the Hurricanes.
gotcha. Got to be physical.
Yeah.
It don't matter how you do it. If you can get in their heads, get physical, it can shake up the whole game.
To our point, right? If you're up 2-0 or you win that first game and at the end you're just getting chippy and you're just like, hey, you sat there, you guys are already basically in Cabo in your minds, like
Yeah,
yeah, you'll start seeing some chippiness in those next few games.
that's it. And then who wins and why? I think you said
Yeah,
Hurricanes in
I
6.
think Hurricanes in 6. But again, if the Hurricanes are as bad on the special teams, like taking penalties like they were against the Flyers, then that I think that series can shift because I think there's one game the Hurricanes had like 10 penalties. Like you
You
can't
can't do
have that.
that.
No.
That'll work against those weaker teams, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're in the Eastern Conference Finals
And
now,
right,
so
and they were able to kill a lot of those, so credit to the Hurricanes. But I'm no mathematician, but as our friend Nick Landy would say, like regression's gonna come, and
yep,
hopefully it doesn't all then come at once. Yeah.
that's it. The whole list. Shout out Landy.
Yeah.
All right, heading over to Western Conference Finals. Who's got the momentum and edge going in the series?
Yeah, I think I'd still say Colorado just has the momentum just from right. Minnesota was a tougher team to play and they took them down in 5, where Vegas it took 6, and like I said, I thought Vegas got outplayed actually most of the series. So
Mm-hmm.
um I think that's gonna be Colorado in 5, kind of jumping ahead to the
Yeah,
prediction.
yeah,
I think they win both at home. I think they win one in Vegas and then they win game 5. Probably, yeah. I think you'll see 2 of those games they'll go to overtime.
gotcha. All right, just the same questions. What players need to keep playing well for each team to win?
Yeah, for Vegas, it's kind of staying on that trend. It's going to be Carter Hart. I
Yep,
don't
you said
know
that
if he
last time.
can. I don't know if he can steal a game versus Colorado, but I think it's to where you just keep them in it. And Vegas, their forwards, um, they've been really good, kind of being scrappy. That's from like they might make it a series. But Carter Hart for Vegas and one guy, wearing the Islanders hat, I'd like to see do a little bit more for Colorado is former Islander Brock Nelson. He is a little bit MIA in that series versus Minnesota. Um, and I think you'll see him kind of make a mark here in this next because it's too easy to say Mitch Marner. He's been unbelievable. So I'm gonna go Carter Hart and then Brock Nelson.
Gotcha. And then now, if we're sitting there at the end and the Avalanche take it, why do they take it? Just a better team?
Better team matching up against the Hurricanes. I think they're faster. Um, it's all right. We're like you said, we do like soccer, all this, but we always hear they're also playing like in Denver, that mile high, the altitude
Yep.
teams. I feel like we'd have to go back and look, but I feel like when a city of Denver's teams make a championship, I feel like they usually win just from like fitness and
Yeah.
endurance. And so
And
I think
that's a real thing. When I played in
yeah,
college, we traveled out to Utah, and
yeah.
dude, even and then I was a kicker, so I was kicking like 60 yarders in warm up. That's a real thing too. And
Yeah.
then you just get out of breath so easily. I can only imagine. I mean, skating for that long. That I
Yeah.
mean,
So
they're probably having to sub, do their changes.
I think if we're gonna say Vegas or not Vegas, Colorado versus the Canes, I think Colorado takes it in six. If we're gonna go there, I think Colorado wins both in Colorado. I think they win one in Carolina, and then I think they lose game five in Colorado. And then I think they win game six in
Carolina.
Carolina. Or vice versa, whether that's it's the Hurricanes are home first. I think they split when the Hurricanes.
How do they do that?
It's a good question. I think it goes for who has the better record, which it would be then Colorado. I think it's overall who has
Gotcha.
the best record, yeah.
If we were to see, look, what would that be? Almost 2 weeks from now, and uh, the night Golden Knights upset the Avalanche in Game Seven overtime. Why? Why?
Um,
Or you think there's even a chance?
no, it's hockey. There's
Yeah,
always I think why would just be like it's a cop out answer, but just opportunistic. I think then Vegas, and I think that's their plan. They're going to try to keep that series really low scoring, and then just be opportunistic.
and muck it up. Yep,
Yeah, very much muck it up. 2-2 games, like 2-1 games, 3-2, and then just kind of get that timely goal at the end.
makes sense. Ultra defense, we call that in soccer.
Yeah, yeah, park the
Park
bus.
the bus.
Yeah.
All right, you know what time it is. You ready for redemption?
Oh yeah.
Zach got knocked off the board in the Do You Know Ball Challenge. Everyone knows I'm running this year-long competition. Do You Know Ball Challenge trivia section. At the end of the year, top 5 players on this board will come back for a Do You Know Ball Championship. It'll be all sports at the end of the year between those 5 people. But tonight, since this is an NHL podcast, we're doing NHL for you. Again, anybody wants to come on and challenge this, feel free to DM me. I'm putting all my links in the bio. But Zach, it's your time for redemption. You got to get back on there. This
Let's
is your
go.
second time, so I didn't give you any layups.
Okay.
Um, right now, let's just go over. We got Roman still at the top. He was an NBA guy with 12, and Paul, he's an NBA guy with 12. Then you got Shaq, which recently was on here, and he got 10 and a half. He's another NBA guy. And then Tyler Gregory's still up there in fourth with 10. He did NCAA basketball, and Chase Smith, golf podcast. He got 10. So 10's the number. If you get 10, we'll have to make it 6 people on there until somebody beats y'all.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. Which team? Question one, and you get one hint. Remember,
Yep.
12 questions. 4 of those questions have a half point bonus point. Here we go. Which team has the longest active Stanley Cup drought? And the half a point already is when was the last time they won?
Um, we'll see on I think this is a trick question because there's like one team that hasn't won, which is Winnipeg, the Winnipeg Jets. But
Okay.
the
Well,
longest drought that
let me.
I can think of is
Okay.
the Maple Leafs, Toronto, and I think it's like 1967.
Final.
Yeah, I'll go final.
Yeah, you're correct on both. Good job, dude. Holy crap. That's awesome. So that's 1.5 there. What is the Jets? Or did they start after 67? Is that why?
I'd have to go look.
I
Yeah.
almost had to look at it because I didn't want you to say them and
So the Jets,
that
like
be.
the Jets existed, and then they were remember the Atlanta Thrashers?
I did not know that, but that's
Okay,
probably why I reset.
when we were younger, then they went to like I think Atlanta Flames, Atlanta, like they've moved around a bunch. So I don't think they've won,
Gotcha.
but like I don't think people classify that because they've moved so much.
Dude, that's a big one right there for you. All
Yeah.
right. Who was the youngest player to reach 1,000 points in the NHL season?
I'm a Wayne Gretzky. Yeah.
Which team lost four consecutive Stanley Cup finals in the early 1980s?
Lost four or won four?
Lost four consecutive Stanley Cup finals in the early 1980s.
Okay, well, it's the Edmonton Oilers then because the Islanders were the ones they won four in a row. So I got it. No, but then Edmonton won. Oh no, it's the I think is it the Flyers? Final answer. Oilers didn't lose that many. You said four consecutive.
So, which team lost four consecutive Stanley Cup finals in the early 1980s?
Yeah, it's final answer Philadelphia Flyers then.
You got me. It's wrong. You got me set. Boston Bruins.
No, it might be then. Okay. I
Okay.
know the Islanders won. That's why I was like, oh, did you put it in wrong? I didn't know a team lost four in a row. Okay.
Yeah. Boston Bruins.
Okay.
Well, you got me second guess myself on all these now. But I'll double check them too at the end, and
Okay.
if there's any question. Um, let's see. Which team holds the record for most consecutive NHL playoff appearances? Half a point. How many? This isn't current. This could be
Yeah, history.
most
Yeah.
consecutive. Uh,
I'm gonna go Montreal Canadiens, and then let's go 23.
Detroit Red Wings 25.
Okay. That's yeah, and it was one of the original six.
Yeah. Who was the first player to score 50 goals in a season after Wayne Gretzky's previous record-setting year? I got tougher on you on these.
The first player after Gretzky.
50 goals in a season after Wayne Gretzky's previous record-setting year. So it must have been the year after.
I know I'm trying to think who was then.
You got a
I think
hint,
that's
by the way.
two. I don't think the hint's gonna help. Not on this one. I'm gonna go because I know he scored like 70 something. Brett Hull.
Final,
Yeah.
Lemieux.
Okay.
What team returned to the playoffs this year after a 14 season drought?
Buffalo Sabres.
Good year for them.
Yeah.
I would, well, I'd call it a good year for them.
Yeah.
When we were talking about that earlier, I was like, I know that's one of the questions. Who was the oldest player to ever skate in the NHL? And how
Yeah.
old was he?
Yamir Yager like 43.
Gordie Howe, 52.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah.
Okay. Who is the only person to have won the Stanley Cup both as a player and a head coach? Half a point. What team? I might have went too old on you,
No,
but you know all these guys.
he won it as a head coach and a player.
Yep. And they were the same team. He did it with the same team.
That's the thing. A lot of coaches are not good players, but doesn't mean that they didn't play. Um, I'm gonna go Claude Julien in Boston.
I have Toe Blake, Canadians.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Don't know
known
who that
that.
is. I don't
No.
even know if that's. I don't even know if it's right.
It's probably then from like a while back.
All right. Which team was founded by Walt Disney Company in 1993?
Anaheim Ducks or Anaheim
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks, if you want to be correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is the only? Yeah, you. Who is the only player to have won the Art Rose Trophy, leading scorer, and the Norris Trophy, best defenseman, in the same season?
Bobby Orr.
Double check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. You check me. Who holds the record for most assists in a single season?
Wayne Gretzky.
Yep. Which two teams played in the first ever National Hockey League game?
Maple Leafs and Canadians.
Final?
Yeah.
Canadians and Senators.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'll give you half a point for getting
Okay.
one. The question is, which is the last team to make the Stanley Cup in their inaugural season?
Oh, then that's Vegas.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I was like, he should know this.
Yeah. Vegas Golden Knights.
So what's that? One, two,
What that mean? 10?
10. So you'll get on there at 10.
All right. Was it me, Tyler, and Chase? If that's how it finishes, we'll have to come on and battle it out for fifth.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll make it up there. You'll be on again for something else.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Zach. Just a quick recap. I know you've mentioned it before, but who do you think comes out of the East and why?
Yeah, I'd say the Canes. I think Canes are going to come out of the East. I think they are a better team, but we'll see if they can get over the hump. And then I'm sure you're
Mm-hmm.
going to ask for the West. I would say
Yep.
Colorado. And then if it's Colorado Canes, I think Colorado takes it.
So you
Now, the
take
other
Canes.
side, if I'm completely wrong, let's say if it's Montreal versus Vegas, I think Montreal then takes it.
So you do got Colorado though to win the Stanley Cup, and you
Yeah,
think it's their year, and they have to choke and just give it up.
basically. Yeah, I think it's theirs to
Yeah,
lose.
it's the Canes, baby. They're gonna get past this hump.
Well, that's the thing, right? The Canes have
Eastern
to get because
Conference.
then if you get past the hump, then you're playing with house money in their
Right.
mind. That's how they got to look
Yep.
at it.
And then maybe just give an MVP throughout the playoffs. Let's say Colorado
Um,
takes it. Who's the MVP?
if Colorado takes it, it's kind of easy. They'll probably go McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if Vegas beats them somehow, I think regardless, and if it's the Hurricanes, then I think you're gonna see it be either Jackson Blake or Mitch Marner.
And then the Hurricanes.
Well, that's Jackson Blake's on the
Yeah,
Hurricanes.
Jackson play, and then
Yeah.
the
And then
other
somehow
guy,
if Vegas makes it, it'll be Mitch Marner. And then
and
if Montreal makes it and they win, it will be their goalie, Dobish.
goalie.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool one right there.
Oh yeah.
The goalie got to step up with these games.
That's who wins it. It's you can do all you want, the goalie wins it.
All right. Anything else?
No, appreciate you having me back on.
Yeah, appreciate having you. Thanks everyone watching out there. Make sure to go like, comment, subscribe. Again, first giveaway at 100 subscribers. We're trying to get there so we can give some of these sports cards away back here. It'll be a pretty good giveaway, so go share with some friends and make sure you subscribe. If you do want to come on the pod, just let me know. It could be anyone out there that think they know ball. Come test your knowledge with the Do You Know Ball Challenge for a good prize at the end of the year if you can make it. But thanks, Zach, again for coming on. I'm sure we'll see you in the future. Maybe not hockey, maybe hockey. Um, but any other sport, if you want to come on, just let me know.
Will do.
Hope
Sounds
everyone has a great week. See you at the window. Deuces.